Green Bay is a small town, only 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people may be different in many ways, but there's one thing that brings them all together: the Green Bay Packers. In Titletown, the blue-collar city only knows hard work, tailgating, championships, but more importantly, they know family.
We have a saying in this town: faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers are all that you need. Sanjay and I grew up in Green Bay. You could say that we are Green Bay, or even better, the voices of Green Bay. We bring a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience.
Friendship, family, and football.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Freezer Podcast. We are back. This is the Freezer Podcast, where we bring you a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience. I'm your host, Sanjay. Alongside me, like always, is Fred and Matt. And we are live in our home studios, brought to you by our beautiful network, Game On Wisconsin. And we're 8-3, baby. This is what winning Tuesday feels like. We have just beaten the beautiful Bears, as you could, not beautiful, but like just, you know what? It's just,
there's nothing beautiful
Bears
about the
what
Bears.
I want to try to say. It just feels good, right? And I know everybody's been waiting, and I know we will have him, and we do. It looks like we do have him in now. This guy doesn't need any kind of entrance. He doesn't really need an introduction. He doesn't really need anything, honestly, because you guys see him everywhere on Packers Twitter. You see him on everything Packers social media wise. He gives you all the latest news, opinions, and comments of everything you need to know about Packer stuff. He's the pride of Appleton, Wisconsin, where we, at least two of us kind of are residing-ish. Matt's in Green Bay. But the one and only Aaron Nagler!
Sup? What is up? What is up?
Oh, my
How's it
God.
going?
How we doing?
Oh,
We're good.
We're good.
how are you doing?
Fred Thurston. God damn it. What is up?
How's it going?
Fred. That's a Bears color you're wearing.
But
yeah, I don't know.
but the words.
I get it. I get the words, but I don't know. That's right.
I feel pretty dirty. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel naughty.
It's all right. Sanjay,
Well,
what's
hey,
up?
let's talk about those Bears, obviously. You know, this is kind of the biggest thing that we're, obviously on a Victory Tuesday. It feels good just to kind of get that, like, that always that little scare in your feelings. Like, you're like, oh, it's the Bears week, man. We know it's going to be a battle. You never know what's going to come out there. I mean, yeah, we knew Trubisky was going to be rolled out there, but this week it was always just like, hey, let's just get the first win, especially at Lambeau. We got to, protect the house, and we did it in a beautiful fashion. Guys, what'd you guys make of this game? Obviously, Aaron, we'll get your thoughts in a second. The biggest thing that I want to just at least ask is Aaron freaking Rodgers. That's all I want to say. Fred, take it away.
I mean, it looks great. It looked smooth again. We've talked about this in previous episodes. When Aaron is comfortable, when Aaron is feeling good, when Aaron is protected, which we'll get to in a little bit, he's Aaron Rodgers, man. And there's not really much that you can say about him besides the fact that he's beyond phenomenal, and he's in every right deserving of an MVP discussion. My concern is still always, what happens when we play tougher teams, and we'll get to that. By all accounts, this Chicago team, there's some serious questions there, but the talent defensively, outside of arguably the best player on their team, and Akeem Hicks was not there, but there's still Khalil Mack, there's still Eddie Jackson, there's still a lot of talent there. And it didn't seem to show up when we played against them. So for us, win-win, because we're able to get out of there. We didn't have a whole lot of injuries too much to outside of the obvious, and it looked good for the most part. So I think we got to roll with it and kind of keep going with the momentum. Matt LaFleur looked fantastic, called a great game. Still has not lost 2 games in a row. So suck it, Chicago.
Aaron, yeah, I mean, Aaron, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, this is everybody's going to talk about the defense, and you've kind of talked about it plenty on your shows, but what are your official thoughts on this game, especially the way that it kind of came out at the end?
I mean, okay. I thought Matt was smart attacking the A gap between the tackles. You go and you look at Akeem Hicks being out. Yes, that's how you should go, right? And yeah, you look at Devontae Adams and you look at all the weapons the Packers have, and that's where Aaron Rodgers' company are going to want to go. I understand that there are Packers fans who are out there who want to say, "Oh, the Bears are who they are, and they, are not a threat." But you got to beat these teams. You got to beat whoever is presented in front of you. That's who it is, and I love the fact that Packers fans everywhere look at the Packers and think that whoever is in front of them, okay, yeah, we pick apart whatever is not going to be presentable and not going to be, I love the fact that whoever's in front of them, they are going to be, whatever. I love the fact that the Packers took them apart. That's it.
They kicked their ass as an ass kicking, and even the final score really wasn't indicative of like how big of an ass kicking it was. I mean, the whole game at one point, they were up, several scores. It felt like. So that's what I said. Last week we were talking about the game. We were predicting scores, and I just felt like the Packers were ready to put a wallop on somebody, and it was no better timing than when the Bears were coming to town. Missed Green Bay really playing well at Lambeau, so it was refreshing to see them come out of the gate looking fresh, looking lively. Creating turnovers, scoring points. Forcing 3 and outs, man. Like it was a full package of the Packers when, and it looked great. I mean, it was something we've been wanting to see for a while. And it's the kind of game, that can propel you on. Now you get this home stretch. It's December now, December football. They got a lot of home games coming up here. So I love that they defended the house and propelled themselves.
That's a good point, though. What you wanted them to present, or I guess, get out, like you wanted them. Like, I understand people want to be killing the Packers for not dominating every opponent in front of them. But at the same time, like, yes, it's the NFL. The other team gets paid too. I understand not wanting to get out there and go, oh, wait a second. We are the Packers. We're going to, destroy everybody in front of us, but sometimes there will be opponents who have a plan and do not want to, for lack of better words, acquiesce to whatever we want to do. So, yeah, I mean, I understand we should have kicked their ass, and we did, but at the same time, yeah, I understand not wanting to say, okay, the other team is paid too.
Well, do you feel like Packer fans, and you probably see a lot of this from where you're watching stuff, that it's like unless they're beating some team with like the notoriety of like the Chiefs or some big ticket name, and they wax the floor with them, it's almost like it doesn't really count, or it's like it's a cheap win, or you shouldn't be that impressed by that. But as you pointed out, man, they played 11 games, they've won 8 of them. I mean, what can you really say outside of that?
Well,
that's what really matters.
That there's no cheap win. In the NFL, there's no win that is devalued, that is cheap. I 100% subscribe to the idea of, look, you got to go out there every week, week in, week out. Everybody is going to give you their best game because that's the NFL. that you can't discount anybody. Um, but the idea of, yes, we stepped out there, we took their best shot, and came out on top. That's how it should be.
Well, and that's
100%.
like my dad used to always say growing up, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how it's done. It's just a matter that it's in that left column. And when we look back on these, when you look at those teams where we were dominating, we were putting up 45 points and just crushing teams, we didn't go win a Super Bowl that year. I don't care if we beat every single regular season, opponent by 30 points. What I care about is at the end of the season, holding up the Lombardi Trophy. And I think that's everyone's goal. And at some point, we somehow lost this ambition towards that and started nitpicking each and every game. And in 7 years, we're not going to sit on the show and say to ourselves, yeah, but that one win against the Bears, it just wasn't quite as good. No, we're not going to give a shit. We're going to say, was it a win or was it a loss? And it's a win. So, like, that's where, to your point, Nag, I get it, man. Like, why we have to always question these wins, whether they're good or bad. A win is a good no matter what.
I am in your corner for the most part, but at the same time, it's like, yes, we will be happy that the Packers won, but if there aren't championships brought home, I understand there's a large swath of modern Packers fans that'll be upset. I understand because I grew up in a time where, 20 years plus, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They didn't even get the playoffs, but that's what Packers fans want. And I can't, I understand the desire, but to your point, I'm like, I get that it's not always going to happen.
Well, Negs, you have that higher view of it because you were a fan before the Packers were this modern version of themselves, where every year you could pencil them into the playoffs, right? So I feel like you have a little bit more patience and you have that perspective of letting the season unfold or understanding where they are in the grand scheme of things. And I think this generation that's kind of our age or maybe a little bit younger, particularly when they're younger, all they know is winning and all they know is success and all they know is MVP quarterback play.
All right. And that's hard because I get it. It's a dichotomy, right? The idea of, okay, this is literally all I've ever known as a young Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, from the 90 whatever season to present day, all I've known is, most likely we're going to make the playoffs and we make a run. Yeah, okay, we won't make it, but we're in the postseason. My goodness, for 20 plus years, Packers fans of my ilk were of the opinion of, okay, if we just make the playoffs, we're gold. All is well. This is amazing. So I understand people who push back on the idea of, okay, they're annual contenders. But being an annual contender is something that the Browns, the Jaguars, there are many teams out there.
Think about the Lions. You're a Lions fan
who would give their left nut to achieve that status.
Absolutely. Hey, let's talk. You know what? Let's flip it over because someone came to show up in this game, and that guy was Preston Smith. That was Darnell Savage. That was Kenny Clark. That was
Elton Jenkins.
Zadarius Smith. That was a defense. A defense looked high energy, high octane. It looked like they wanted to be there. They looked like they wanted to get after every single ball that was thrown to someone. And it looked like they wanted to show someone that, hey, we're not this chump team that keeps giving up all these points. And they really wanted to make, a little bit of egg on Mitch Trubisky's face. And it looked like that. And let's be honest, we were all waiting for Preston Smith. We were waiting for this kind of performance, this kind of coming out of look, guys, I know you guys are struggling. You guys want Rashawn Gary to take my snaps. You want all these guys to, be there instead of me. But look, when it came down to it, he had a lot of impact plays that, changed the face of getting some points that gave us 3 and outs. So defense, guys, let's talk about defense.
I mean, you look at Gary in particular, you can't deny how much he has meant and how his influence on the rush, on the run defense, like clearly a number of people have been calling for him to come up, and he's answered the bell. There's no doubt about it. My thing with Preston is I don't think he's playing that much differently than he was a month ago. I do think that there's no doubt his snaps needed to be reduced. And you look at how he's played the RPOs with Trubisky or with Watson, like he's been great. He's been there. But the thing with the Packers defense that's most disconcerting is the lack of consistency.
Yes.
Like you look at the defense as like the offense turns the ball over. Okay, there's the defense to rise up and shut the opponent down. That's great. But why can't you do that when they have the entirety of the field and or play calls in front of them? They let Colts, Bears, whoever march down the field. That's disconcerting. So I'm in on the defense. I'm in on Pettin. I understand why people are upset about Pettin and or the defense. I think there's talent there. I think there's undoubtedly an ability there, but you got to show more consistency, and that's what kind of sets you back.
I agree completely, Aaron. I think that it's consistency because you see these flashes from the defense where they have these stretches, whether it's a quarter or a couple of drives, and you go, man, if they just could do that over the course of a game or the rest of the season, like they're going to be in prime position. I remember before the season started, I think they are like technically top 10 based on stats, but I'm like, if they could play like a top 10 defense just consistently, I mean, they're going to be right in the Super Bowl conversation. I still believe that because when they do show up and show out and those guys play with some juice and some energy, they're just as good as anybody in the league and getting after the ball and forcing some turnovers. But that's the problem is they got to do it on a week by week basis. And we're not seeing it yet.
I mean, week by week, we could go
drive by
drive. I mean, I'm serious though. I mean,
yeah.
If you that's what's so disruptive and or upsetting. My co-founder on CheeseheadTV, Corey Benke, was like, "Oh, they did this as opposed to or in response to turnovers. That's great, but by the way, the offense also is allowed to operate in a full. We receive the kick, and now we will." Proceed to drive the ball down your ass drive. So like you've got to bring it consistently, and that's where I think the Packers lack.
Yeah, I mean it's never fun when your opening play or 2 plays is a 65-yard run by your running back right up the middle.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right,
here we go. That's what I thought right there. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're just kind of used to it at this point. But yeah, you're right. It's the consistency. It's just the will of knowing that, hey, I kept asking Matt in our group chat, I'm like, if they can get a 3 and out here, that'd be great. And I laughed at him. And then I'm like, wait, can we do that again? And then we did do it again. We did 2 series in a row.
They did a bunch. That's the problem. But that's what makes you so frustrated when you watch the Packers defense. It's like, wait, so if you give them, do or die situations, the opposing offense turns the ball over, you can shut them down. Great. So why isn't that the case when they have a full field?
So do it in the second quarter, or not just
Which is interesting because that's exactly what I said about the offense last week, in that it looked like they were incapable until the last quarter, and it was like the hero status turned on for Aaron Rodgers, and he was like, okay, I'm going to drive this ball down, and I'm going to be dominant. Me and Devontae are going to be unstoppable. So yeah, I understand, that concern, and defensively, I think it costs a little bit more. But I think in the same breath, I know it's not a full worthy of this, but it's a confidence game. It's a little bit of a boost for them. You get Preston Smith feeling a little bit better. Gary had a good game. Savage gets his first or his 2 interceptions. There's some moves there that I think will help the players kind of transgress and kind of progress going into the rest of the season in kind of these late games. And I think now better than ever. I think last year we saw them be really good for a lot until the end, and then it got a little concerning towards the last couple games of the season. If they want to pick up their shit and start playing like they did last year now and take that into the playoffs, I'm okay with it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's a big hope. It's a big Christmas list.
It's a huge if. It's a huge if. Yes, correct.
All right, so you guys have all seen it. You guys have definitely checked out that SI cover. Rodgers surrounded by his receivers. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, it was the most like beautiful like roster that he could, or sorry, offensive weapons that he could ever have." Well, guess what? They need to do a new SI cover. It's going to be of the O line, and there's going to be a different thing, and that's going to be our hero of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
God forbid we talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers can step back, survey the field without anyone literally per
Touching him.
PFF, the most unharried quarterback in the NFL. Oh, I'm Aaron Rodgers. I can pick my fucking whatever. Oh, you mean you don't have to worry about guys?
Did you get?
or whatever?
I'm assuming you saw him on McAfee today, right?
Of course I did.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he felt wonderful waking up the next morning because he never was.
That's great.
That's
great. Then I hope all that you have done, Aaron, continues.
yes.
Because
so we're
there's
naming Elgton
no
Jenkins.
excuse. No excuse going forward.
And we're just going to throw a whole offensive line with him because obviously the work that John Runyon Jr. is doing at a rookie level and just coming in there and significant snaps. Obviously the work that Lucas Patrick is doing on the other side in the guard position. But obviously you know what you're going to get from the beast in Bakhtiari. And then Billy Turner has been playing so well as of late. I mean, he had the biggest assignment last night, and that was
Don't talk to Fred.
Don't tell to Fred. Yeah, our resident offensive lineman over here, Fred, does not approve of Billy Turner sometimes.
One punch
but
Billy.
He had a pretty tough assignment, and Khalil Mack had
did.
0 sacks. So we got to give credit where it's due. I know he probably had a lot of help last night.
Though, it's like it's all about context. And look, I thought Billy did a good job against Khalil. He also got owned a couple times against Khalil.
Yeah,
but as Aaron said on his interview with McAfee this afternoon, sometimes you run plays away from Khalil because you know Mac is going to run this and fucking ruin whatever you're trying to do. Like, look, that's the thing that kind of blows my mind. I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this point in 2020 where we live, but I kind of am in the sense of, yes, undoubtedly, we got these players who are amazing. We have to account for, but Packers fans and or NFL fans are like, oh, they're going to ruin the game. That guy's going to take over. No, okay. By the way, the coaches have a say in this, and they're like, wait, or Aaron comes to the line and is like, oh, we're going to run this play away from Khalil. Yeah. Because you should, because he's really good.
It's really good.
But that's the point. It's like, yes, these guys are good, and we're going to try and take advantage or try and, at least make something happen that counteracts whatever their greatness is. Khalil Mack is a great player. He can probably beat any one-on-one in a situation where yes, the quarterback has a 7-step drop, has to stay back there and survey the field. Oh my God, here comes Khalil Mack, and he's going to sack him. But in the modern NFL, that is rarely the moment or the case that he has to deal with. So I get that Packers fans may be upset that, we didn't get Khalil Mack. Yeah, but I think the last year and a half of games against the Bears have proven why you didn't overpay to get Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. I think, when we're talking about moving plays away from a player like that goes all to Matt LaFleur and the scheme, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, motioning everybody around, making that defense completely confused. And that doesn't give, Khalil the time to do his usual moves and get past even the Billy Turners of the world and get to Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Jones, whoever's in the backfield. And that's what we saw last night. That was the biggest key from this offensive line, which has been playing so well. But obviously Elton, we got to obviously talk about it real quick. Corey Linsley out 3 to 6 weeks, probably more so obviously on the higher end due to that MCL sprain. We definitely hate to see that because obviously he's one of the most reliable centers in the league. But then, you got someone else, and that's who, Aaron was saying on Pat's show is Mr. Reliable himself too, and that's Elton Jenkins. And he steps right in a natural position for him, and the level of play doesn't, change, and you still can run an offense through him.
If you could, I think anyone out there who wants to, I guess, criticize or attack Gutekunst on his drafts or anything that he does, just realize that he single-handedly drafted 5 players in a single draft pick by drafting Elton Jenkins because he got himself a left tackle, a left guard, center.
Why you gotta bring up facts right now? Come on.
I'm just saying.
He makes too much sense on the show, Aaron.
It's absolutely it's unbelievable what he's done. It's unprecedented. It's not. I don't know if I can think of anyone who's ever done that, who's ever played at that level and had to do it in a singular season on every single position and rank out the way that he does. So it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to make one point before I let you go in here, Matt.
You're good.
John Runyon Jr. making his first start on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles, who his dad played for his pretty much his entire career. What a cool story that is. Something we got to watch for. And that kid's come in and been a beast too. So again, continue to fault Goot, but he did it.
I just wanted to piggyback off that, Fred, real quick, is that I've heard a few of the pros talk about Elton Jenkins, and all of them are totally mystified about how a second-year pro is doing what he's doing. And the thing is, when he moves positions, you don't notice it. It just works. He doesn't let up snacks or pressures. He just keeps going. And then again, John Runyon Jr., I mean, you are talking about a future starter here at the Packers. So 2 home runs, I think. By Gutekunst.
I think when you start watching the game, it's the wears out Jenkins game. I mean, what position is he going to play this snap? What position is he like to walk in and play a center, which is arguably to me one of the most underrated positions on an NFL team because you're doing so much. You have to have that consistency, that relationship with the quarterback, the ability to call out blocking schemes and different motions and things like that. For him to just slide in there mid-game, no hiccups, no holds, no sacks, no nothing. I mean, you always expect a couple holds. He's kind of getting his feet wet. He's kind of getting into his position. He's going to probably have to hold a couple times to get through it. Flawless. I mean, just flawless. And for him to do it flawlessly on 5 positions in a single season, tell me something. Let's give him the MVP. Let's be realistic when we're really talking about it here, because it's something we've never seen. We've seen guys throw for 48 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. We've seen guys do that. Have we seen someone play 5 positions at an elite all-pro level in a single season? No, we haven't.
No.
Correct.
That's my argument.
I wanted to just touch on something that's a little off topic here while we have you, Aaron. I love what the availability that Rodgers has sort of had in the press, most notably on the McAfee show. And I feel like he's come out of his shell a little bit. And I know you made a comment the other week on Twitter about how lucky we are as fans. What do you attribute to him sort of coming out now and being more face forward to fans? I love the fact that he goes on Pat McAfee and just is himself.
Right.
You know, and you've covered him and for years. So what do you attest to him kind of, showing this other side of him?
I don't think it's different. I really don't. I think Pat gave him an outlet. There's no doubt, and it's something. Hell, we would have loved to have him on Cheesehead TV these last few years. We've been begging him to do one-on-ones in training camp. But yeah, no, I think look, I love it. Packers fans are lucky that it's happening. I think it was the natural progression from a media standpoint. But I also think that Aaron has always been like this. He's always been the gregarious dude we've seen on Pat's show. He just hasn't had an outlet that he trusts. He trusts Pat, and I love it. As a Packers fan, I absolutely love it.
I think maybe Pat's warming him up for his Cheesehead TV appearances. He's getting him comfortable.
Yeah,
and then eventually he's going to show up for you guys.
Very true.
Hey, if you can get LaFleur and you can get Rodgers. Come on.
I say if you can pull a coach, man, you got to get the quarterback.
I'm gonna say that's never gonna happen, but I'm there. I'm all for
All right.
it.
Well,
Hey, if you don't get Rodgers, then you can just have the three of us. How about that? You can just get.
I'm
us.
all in.
We
I'm all
want-
in. Let's do
Hey,
this
before we
again.
let you go, Nagler,
Let's do this again.
Groku and Admiral Thrawn. Yes,
I'm all
yes,
in.
we're gonna talk-
I'm all in all of this. Okay,
What?
Goku, fucking Thrawn. I'm all in. Okay, look.
was that the best episode of The Mandalorian we've seen?
No, not even close. But
No?
I will say no,
Okay.
because I will say this. I love that there's this expansion of the universe between the Rebels, Clone Wars. We're gonna get the animated version of Star Wars, and now we're going to connect it with the real world and or live action Star Wars with Mandalorian. However, I will say this is all I gotta say. I know I'm in probably the minority here, but I don't want that. I don't want I get it. Like we're all psyched to get Thrawn and whatever. I love the separation of church and state.
Yep.
Now we're bringing it all together. Dave Filoni, please, I love you, brother. I love everything you do because I know you're immersed when it comes to Star Wars. But I can't get on board with the idea of everything you do is like, oh, I was a child of the prequels, so I will allow it. My actor to say your line. Pause. 30 seconds later. I will have a response to that line. Pause. 30 seconds later. I can't have that. I can't do it. I get it. You're a child of the prequels. The prequels were horrible. I feel like The Mandalorian is trying to bring the prequels back. The OG trilogy is still the OG.
Well, it's the best. It's as good as it gets.
That's all I gotta say.
I thought that episode was some of the best Star Wars I've seen since the OG, but hey, to each their own, right?
It's all right. It's all right. Like, look,
we're all fans.
I will say to give props to the Mandalorian's most recent episode. The Beskar staff.
Yes.
I'm all in on that.
That's awesome. That's
two
awesome.
women, two female antagonists / villains going at it. I'm all in on that. Yep. I'm all in on all of that. But the presentation and or way they went about it, I got questions.
All right.
I'm a fan.
We're gonna have to do a sideshow and just pick Aaron's brain on Star
I'm
Wars.
all in.
I could go all night long.
We got to do it. Yeah.
Please.
Nagler, Star Wars story. Check it out. He talks about it all on his.
He does. Yeah. Plug his
oldest
podcast.
and
Shameless
we
plug
have
there for you.
we have a Star Wars podcast, Nagler Star Wars story on Spotify, whatever you want to go. That's what we do. My oldest and I, we talk about Star Wars.
You've succeeded as a father if you have your oldest daughter.
I guess
ingrained in Star Wars, man. You've done. You're
Absolutely.
good.
Packers and Star Wars. That's all you need your children to know.
I mean, really, what's funny is she loves Star Wars. She is totally indifferent about the Packers.
Yeah.
But she owns a Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Because
that's
he's
all that matters.
hot. Because he's
there you go.
hot.
There you go. She gets it. She gets it.
Aaron Nagler, words cannot describe what this means to us. Joining us on our show, we thank you a lot for your time.
Thank you.
This is obviously a great
Thank you,
opportunity.
Aaron.
Thank you
so much. Check him out on CheeseheadTV. You know what to do. He's always there. Check him out on.
You guys doing transplants tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
5 p.m.
night, exactly. Transplant.
5 p.m.
So check them out. You guys don't go anywhere because we still have another half of the show. We're going to talk about the Eagles when we come back. This is the Freezer Podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, kids, don't drink and drive.
We are back. This is the Freezer Podcast. Thank you so much to Aaron Nagler to join us on this awesome show. It's always cool to get someone of his stature in the Packer community come on our show. We're like Matt and I always say, we're just two guys in a closet with a Yeti mic, and then we get a bloodline like Fred to join us and grace us with his beautiful presence. And then we have this beautiful show called the Freezer Podcast, and you guys all come out and watch it, and then we get you guys like Aaron Nagler on our show.
Hey,
and it's what we do. We want to aim to please you guys, and there's nothing
Joey
to say about that.
This is why you come to the Freezer Podcast, because you just see shit you haven't seen before. So
yeah, exactly. This is you're gonna see me eat a chip. You're gonna see a guy come on a show. So this was awesome. Obviously, we're still ecstatic about the Bears beat down that we have, but there's always another game that needs to be played, and that is go ahead.
Well,
yes,
I think we should congratulate. I mean, this is a pretty impressive.
Yeah, let's get all the news and things out. Aaron Rodgers, 50,000 yards. I mean, 11th person in the NFL history to do that. Obviously, he didn't get it there quickest like, Big Ben and stuff, but he didn't always have those kind of targets like Big Ben always gets. So, it's just in and of itself, the achievements that Aaron Rodgers has done. It's almost like we're always amazed every time he steps on the field. There's always something he does that just makes you like, man, I'm so grateful to be a Packer fan. Like Fred, you've said it all your life. I mean, you've kind of gone through the motions of seeing different people talking to different greats, obviously in your family, but you've seen Favre, and so have we, obviously, but you've got to see him at a little bit more of a mature level. And, it's cooler just to see, greatness on the field with your own eyes. And then now you get to see it with number 12. And it's truly just something that just don't blink, people, because when you do, he's going to be gone. And then you're going to be having something else. And you're going to be like, I miss Rodgers, just like we say, we miss Favre or whatever it may be. Go ahead, Fred.
And I think we're still working on that, guys. I still think that, that's something that I know we've said on the show. I know Matt has said it on the show a few times. And we preach on a pretty normal basis. And we touched on a little bit with Nags, man. I mean, quit your bitching. Like, if the game's not 40 plus points, you still saw excellence. You saw something that I know that it might have been you might be someone like me who's only seen Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And we've had some shit in between. We've had Hundley and we've had Kaiser and certain things like that. But my God, just enjoy it. Like, if you can't enjoy it, I have a lesson. I have a plan for you. I have a little exercise you guys can do. Go on Twitter, friend a Browns fan, friend a Jets fan, friend a Dolphins fan.
Ask them how
get a chat room going and just talk to them for 5 minutes and tell me how that goes. And tell me you don't leave that conversation going, I feel a little bit better about myself, because it's going to be the truth.
Well, I legitimately worry for this fan base once Aaron Rodgers is gone, and there are a few seasons of just horseshit football. Like I fear for people jumping off the bandwagon. The real ones will stick, but yeah, there's definitely a little bit of like people used to winning, and when there's the slightest bit of adversity, everyone melts like Crayola crayons in the sun. But to go back, to go back to the.
Hey, I want to say one thing. Matt or Fred said Browns fan. I'm like, hey, Brown fan.
Okay, God.
Okay.
Sanjay, if you didn't notice, he's wearing his own T-shirt, so that says all you.
He's wearing a shirt with his name on it, because that's what Sanjay does.
Hey, okay, but to go back to the accolades, so Rogers talked about today on McAfee the trifecta. It was he threw a touchdown to Big Bob for his 50,000 yards. He threw a touchdown to Devontae, which I think was his 500th catch, and then Mercedes catches his touchdown, and it was his 400th. Yeah, so kind of cool. Like on 3 passes, 3 big milestones occurred all in the same game.
And to talk about Big Bob, I want to throw out a stat that Zach Cruz wrote out that I thought was just fantastic. And I know it's been sort of hidden behind some other things, but not totally hidden. We've talked about it. People have talked about it. But what Big Bob is doing for that offense, and the way that he opens it up with his ability and his toughness, his ability to get downfield, his catching radius, all those types of things, it's freaking awesome. And I don't think we understand really where that's going to take us. I think you're going to see it progress drastically going into these playoffs. And I think he'll end up being a big time playoff guy. And then I think next year you're going to see him be a top 5 tight end, maybe even top 4 tight end, get mixed in with that Kelsey, Ertz. Who am I missing?
Kittle.
Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittle. Thank you. The guy that he emulates, basically. Yes.
No offense, Fred.
Quarterback. What's that?
Oh,
no, go ahead.
He's about to offend you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Quarterback. Wear your shirt. Aaron Rodgers has a 152.8 passer rating when targeting Big Bob. He's 37 for 41, so 7 incompletions only in the entire season, 458 yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 90% catch percentage with 11% or 11 yards per target. I mean, flawless.
He's just getting started. He's just getting started.
It's insane.
Let me here's where I'm offending you though. So like that's great. And I'm all for the trajectory.
Really
I really am.
Okay.
And obviously we also have another guy in Stern that I hope that I hope we start using him. But like friend of the show, Peter Bukowski, and some other people too, they've also mentioned, look, this system, regardless of who you plug in, should be the reason why. That's why we haven't gone and got these big name player here, big name contract there, and trading all our assets for this. Like, I think this is why we have to trust the system and Matt LaFleur, because regardless if it was Tunyon or if it was Stern, or if obviously Mercedes is probably not going to be running those kind of routes, but I think, and I'm not trying to say that Tunyon is a guy, because he's not, but I do think this system allows the ability for us to plug and play. Because Lazard, is he a number 2 on a lot of other teams? I don't know. I really don't. I think he's a really good receiver. I do. I think he's showing a lot, but I think the system is really allowing him to really gel and really show off his talents and show that he can, at least be competent enough to run the routes and catch the balls. He's made a lot of great plays. I'm not trying to downplay him, but I just wanted to say, at least with your tight end comment, does the system also allow Tunyon and Lazard?
But that kind of goes for the entire offense. Realistically, I mean, the system's going to benefit everybody. I think the system is in place to work as an engine, if you will, and not really focus on like few stars. And it's not just a Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. It runs through everybody, and everybody has to do their part, and that's been said for years.
Because can you say Tunyon's going to take over a game? You've seen Devontae take over a game. Kelsey and Kittle can.
Tunyon's had a couple big games. I don't know. I don't know if I. I don't know if
he was wide open on a lot of touchdowns.
He hasn't had a George Kittle 7 catch, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Or a Kelsey, even Kelsey last week.
but he'll have one.
Ertz
He'll
last year, like Ertz had 100 catches last year. You seen that trajectory from Tunyon? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, is he that much better than in that class of group? Like, that's what I want to know. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just saying.
I think he won't get to that level now, but I think in about 2 years, if the things change at the helm, I think you could see that.
I think you see a monster 2021 out of him.
It helps to have 12.
Me too.
Speaking of the system, guys, how do we feel about Tavon Austin being signed and fitting?
Yeah,
into
let's
the
talk
system?
about that. Tavon Austin, we signed him. Everybody was obviously, once you hear the talk about people being brought in for a visit, it's like Packers Twitter literally just is like, sign the guy, sign the guy. It could be literally the Hamburglar, and we would want him to be on the team. And so, I mean, obviously, I want this guy too. And I know everybody's going to talk about it. West Virginia highlights, all this crap. And yeah, the guy is obviously a freak show talent in the speed department. And you know, you just your head starts churning of all the ideas that you could do with him. But let's just be honest too. Let's be realistic. Let's bring him in. Let's start him slow with, you know, obviously just get some sort of threat in the return game. Let's just get something that we're like, you know, we don't have to take a deep breath and be like, is this guy going to muff it? Is he going to, you know, not call the right, you know, fair catch, whatever it may be. You know, at least we have someone that is seasoned and understands what his job and his role is. Aaron always talks about that, roles. So, I mean, yeah, let's go further on this Tavon Austin and what he could do with the offense.
I think initially, yeah, you're going to feel his presence. One, in special teams, punt and kick returns, and two is going to be, as Neil just said in the chat, you got to fill that Tyler Ervin, you know, end around role. What I'm most excited for, though, is he's played with just shit quarterbacks his whole career, which is why he's never really stuck anywhere or sort of panned out. That could be why, at least. So I want to see what they can do. And I know there's really not much time. There's a handful of regular season games in the playoffs, but what he could do with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's much better than anybody he's ever played with. And if Matt LaFleur's creativity, you know, the way they can kind of plug and play players, you know, within the scheme, how he can be maximized. And I think that he could be someone really useful as, again, we head down this stretch to the playoffs.
Fredzilla?
I know people are going to probably give me some crap for this. But I kind of compare it to the bringing in Andre Rison, the 96 year. And I know it's a little bit of a different play. It's a little bit of a different style, but Andre Rison was signed November 20th of 1996. Here we are bringing in Tavon Austin a week later. Obviously it did a little different years. And I don't know if I do agree. I think you have to start him at a certain level. But his speed and his shiftiness and quickness and his maturity and his veteran leadership, I shouldn't say leadership, but just his veteran ability to be on the field might just translate really easily into what we need him to be. And it might be an easy transition between Aaron Rodgers and him, because Aaron's going to look at him and say, hey, here's a 30-year-old. Here's a guy kind of close to my age. He knows how it goes. This is what we got to do. So I think you're going to see him on the punt returns. You're going to see him on the kick returns. I think you'll see him as the gadgets. I think of all those things everyone said is probably true. I'm also going to pencil him in for like one, maybe two Bomberooskies that happen at some point the rest of the season. But that's where I get the Andre Rison comparison to, because Andre Rison, obviously the Super Bowl is one thing, but he just had that weird, like, come out of the blue. He'd just have a bomb play, and Brett would just chuck him up one. And I think Tavon will get lost in the mix when you have Devontae, Lazard, everybody else kind of running, and all of a sudden you have this speedy little all over the place.
That's it.
Could get lost.
That's my point.
I'm all for the. Sorry, I just want to say real quick. I'm all for the wheel route. I really think if he's in the backfield or some sort of motion from the backfield, and then he turns that up on the sideline, I really think that's going to be one.
Well, you line him up, you put him in the slot, and then you motion him, you know, in front of Aaron, like we've seen in a lot of plays. In arguably our best games this year have been when we use that motion heavily. But if he's in the slot and he motions out, and the ball is snapped and he comes off that left tackle and then he wheels out, he's already got 10 steps of speed on that linebacker. Ain't no way that linebacker's going to keep up with him.
his
ahead, man.
body style, that's what I'm really intrigued by, is because basically the Packers have like a basketball team for wide receivers. Guard, 6'5", MVS,
We
6'4",
need the Earl Boykin.
6'5". They're all huge,
We
and
need a Muggsy Bogues.
yeah, he's a little smaller, shifty, fast guy. So I'm really interested to see how, you could all these DBs playing our guys are used to covering Mutombo out there, and then all of a sudden out comes Muggsy Bogues. So very, very interested to see. I'm intrigued by the signing. Do I think it moves the needle a ton? No, but I think it just gives them an option. And it's, again, one of those things we've been talking about. Just add to your team throughout the year. Little pieces adding like that throughout the season can make a huge difference in the end.
And let's talk about that real quick. Let's shed on that. A 6'4", 365-pound lineman was signed today, Mr. Rush. Let's clog up those holes. How about that? I think that's another underrated signing that we'll see down the road. That
Howard Green
make a run, exactly. A Howard Green-esque kind of player that could make some. I mean,
Howard
you saw Danny
Green,
Wynn come in
Rison.
Right? Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just saying, like, you saw Danny Wynn come in huge in a game and just play his lights out for like one of the greatest comeback stories of some practice squad guy. But it's nice to see these kind of little pickups to see what they can happen. So let's move on real quick to the Eagles before our predictions. Obviously, they come off a Monday night short week for them. Pretty much never really felt like they had a chance. I know the score says otherwise, but
did they play?
What?
They played?
They played last night, Monday night, against the Seahawks.
I don't know if they did.
I mean, they did.
Yeah. Sorry. You're just saying. Oh
he's
my God,
making a joke.
What is happening here? Am I in like some Twilight?
Hi, I make jokes.
Hi, you're Fred.
What's your name? Oh wait, it says it on your shirt.
The man, the myth, the legend. I love it.
So yeah, I mean, Eagles awfully, it looks bad out there in Philly, and you got when you're starting to talk about Jalen Hurts coming in for plays, and then you're putting your quarterback on the sideline just to sit there and watch another guy do things. It's like Taysom Hill all over again. But let's be honest, Matt, we're being really truthful because that's one of the worst worst games that the Eagles and Carson Wentz probably had, and he'll probably have a really great game against us. Let's just be honest. That's just kind of how it goes for a lot of teams, players. They usually have career days. We saw that with Montgomery. He had his career high run against us in the first quarter. So Matt, what are your thoughts, at least with the Eagles, especially coming off of, let's just be honest, the Seahawks are a good offense, but that defense you can score on, and they really didn't get much going on that defense.
Philly has had a really tough year. I mean, a lot of injuries, a lot of non-productive games. They've looked bad. I mean, it looks like Carson Wentz has regressed. I don't know if he's hurt, what the deal is there. That said, man, I'm always like just Mr. Pessimistic when it comes to something like this. I'm just in my back of my head thinking, oh man, the Eagles have looked really bad. Well, thank God they have the Packers coming up, because they just tend to give up.
A loss coming from your side.
Absolutely not. No way. I'm fully confident, man. I mean, I expect the Packers to lay the wood to them, to go back to a phrase from last year. But I can never underestimate the Packers' ability to make struggling teams look competent. So I will fully admit that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Packers put a lot of effort and time, obviously a lot of great planning in the Chicago Bears game. I really hope Matt LaFleur just gave these guys off till Wednesday. I really hope that there's no layoff in practice, that there's not a lot of energy on the field. All this bull crap that comes up when we lose to teams like this. And then it's like, oh, I guess we were still up on the Bears Bears win. It's like, this is NFL, dude. Like, you should just be able to focus on the next teammate. Yeah, you won. You probably prepared a lot because it's a division game. It's the first one against that opponent, against a great defense, and you clobbered them. But here's the thing. That consistency needs to continue. And let's wipe away the team that we should wipe away, that has 3 wins, and then move on to the next one, because you got Tennessee, and after that, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, God. Well, remember this, too, is that Philly may be struggling with 3 wins, but they're 1 game out of first place in that crappy ass division. Well, right, so they do have something to play for. So Green Bay is going to have to bring it, man, because Philly is going to be out there trying to make up for what happened the last couple of weeks. And they got the Packers in front of them, 3:15 game. It's going to be in front of a national TV audience. So they're going to have all the motivation to show up. Fred?
I don't know, man. We lost to him last year, didn't we?
Well, that's the thing is we did, but
We lost on a nice bullcrap call on Devontae. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
And
Devontae had 10 catches,
got hurt.
180. Rodgers threw like 50 times. It was a shit
As long as we
show.
don't have 4th and 26, we're good, right?
Yeah, right. Wentz looked really good last time. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird thing because as much as I think I want to initially go right to the fact that Wentz is regressing or is having regression, there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of weirdness going on just with their roster. So it's hard to be like, oh, that's it.
Doug Peterson might give up play calling. I saw him say that today, possibly.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they just built the statue.
Like, I think Wentz is obviously a clear-cut better version of Mitchell Trubisky. He can move his feet. He still has the ability to just evade the pocket for like a taller guy. I don't think he's incredibly accurate, but I think he can make plays, and just somehow you just got to bring him down, and you don't, and then he somehow gets this like really awesome sideline throw, and it's a big first down or whatever it may be. It's going to be an issue, and it's going to be a lot of discipline on the edge to contain him inside and make sure that he doesn't get out. So there's a lot of things that can happen, but obviously still have our full offense. At least now we just gained another weapon. I don't know what the status is on Tyler Ervin. I think he's still obviously hurt, but if he can't go, it's still a full roster, and we now just added a new player. I don't know how much he'll be implemented right away, but we'll still have a full team. So we have to take advantage of that against a defense that has struggled even to weaker opponents. So let's move to our predictions, because that's what everybody's here for, right?
That's right.
Matthew McConaughey.
Well, I wish I was him. All right. So Packers, Eagles at home. Green Bay looked great at home against the Bears. They found that gusto they've been missing all year long. So I want to believe right now that they've found that next gear here, and they're going to keep that rolling. LaFleur's got them off till Wednesday, keep them energized, keep them ready to roll. I just feel like they're going to show up. They're not going to do what my tortured mind wants to think, and they're going to lay an egg. No way. I'm going to go back to the well because it worked last time.
Oh, the well.
And because I'm a man of superstition, I have to wear this hat that I was wearing at the time. 42-17. 42-17 Packers.
Yeah.
I am not mad at all.
There's only one person in this room that's mad, and that's you, Sanjay. Don't even do it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he deleted it. I don't care. It's still in there. You know what, fans? You were just taking away a beautiful moment, a golden picture that we've left Matt's in there, but he had to take it off. He had to take his off. Okay.
Yeah, I literally posted that on all of my social media, and where do you think all of our listeners?
You think all these people here watch your social media?
Yeah.
Fred Zilla.
Well, I'm going to say this to start off, Matt. I love you, and I think it's great that you have confidence in our football team, unlike Sanjay.
I have confidence. I'm picking us to win. Is what happens.
Oh, spoiler alert!
No, I said last week. I picked us to win last week, and I just didn't have a big game like.
How about you just talk when it's your turn?
All right.
I'm gonna go real. I can't go too high on the 40s because I don't know how confident I feel about going too far with that. So I'm gonna go.
But I got you, bro. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. Am I done talking, Sanjay? I said I'm gonna go 41-21.
Yes, double 40 burgers. Let's go.
I can't go as high as you, so 1 point, but I'll go 41. Again, how does that 41 happen? Where does that 1 happen? Can you do that math again, how that 41 happens?
It will be 5 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
38. They're 38 and they kick a field goal.
Dumb.
Well, I'm just saying, you can throw these numbers out there. All right.
You going to go 17-10 again? Remember you did that for the Bears last week?
Yeah,
again, it was a good defense.
Hey, Sanjay, do you remember when you did that last week? Remember when you picked 17?
And you laughed at my 42.
Yeah, again, it was against the Bears defense. I didn't think they would not show up. Also, we didn't know that Akeem Hicks would be out. So, just saying, that game would be totally different if Akeem Hicks plays.
I love that. The selfish shirt.
You just got called out by an underage kid, bro.
Hey, man, Joey. Well done. He's probably going to start selling that shirt soon with his face on it, doing this.
Joey and I, you know what? He's got me. You know,
No, he doesn't.
We cool.
No, he doesn't.
I'm going 55 in a Packers win. 55. Yeah.
I don't even have a graphic for that.
We
We're going
got
to score 20
Tavon
points.
Austin.
Confirmed.
Tavon Austin's coming in. He's taking a kick return back if he plays. If he plays, he's taking a kick. He's going to be in green and gold. He's going to be feeling all that love. He's going to take one back. I know. Someone said Aaron Hicks.
Someone, that was
Team
you.
Hicks. I said it correctly this
you.
time. I said it.
Don't say someone.
Oh, someone said that.
I
He
said
won,
it
55
correctly
points.
this time. I did.
Okay, hold on. How you yelled at me for 41? How do you get 55? First of all, and
double
second
nickels.
of all,
56.
and second
56,
of all,
56.
there's got to be a bet somehow here because that is insanity.
There's no bet. That's 50. That's confidence in my team that we're gonna throw like 5 touchdowns and like run for like 2.
All right, tell
Did
you
you
what. If Tavon Austin returns the kick, I will get that exact same shirt made and I will wear it every episode for the rest of the season.
Ditto.
Ooh.
Ditto.
So this shirt right here.
But if Tavon Austin does not score a touchdown, which is more likely, so I'm going to give you a little bit.
Again,
of
we don't know
leeway
if he's gonna be playing or suiting up. I don't feel like this is like a good other counter bet. Like
I don't know. You seem
it's
to
like an
take the
80%
bet.
chance he's probably not going to be suiting up because he's just not going to be. I mean, look at this. We went and got Seth Roberts, and he hasn't even touched the field yet.
I forgot he's in the team.
So now you're backing out, or
I'm not backing. I'm just saying, like it. There's a lot. It's a strong. I mean, if he was officially playing, I'm all about the bet. I'm just saying. Okay, what's your wager? What is it?
We're trying to hit at the same time. Sanjay, how long does it take you to read, man? Come on, geez.
I was
Bodies, not
today,
that's
Junior.
Wow, Joey. All right, fine. We ain't buddies. All right. Stop going into my DMs, then, boy.
Oh yeah,
Whoa,
ain't nobody in your
He's
DMs.
not-
Your
he's not
wife's not
DMing
even in
you.
your DMs.
Got right here.
All right,
Okay,
no,
so-
anybody. Okay,
So you're not
so
taking
we're
that
all
bet.
agreed. No.
You don't have a bet. You don't have whatever. You're not going to say
Okay, well, I was trying to say it. If Tavon Austin returns a kick in this game, I will wear that shirt for the rest of the show, for the rest of the season. If Tavon Austin does not, we have to get a shirt made for next week that says Fred is the best on the show, and you have to wear it. Sanjay.
What if he doesn't play? Then that's nullified, right?
And then the gates. Yeah, there's nothing then.
Yeah,
Fine.
It's
I'll
just
do
assuming
it.
he plays.
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Done.
Book it. I didn't
Yeah.
even say what they were going to score, but it was 56 to 28.
Doesn't matter.
They'll still
Doesn't
score.
matter.
They always do. Team
All
score
right,
on
it's a
us.
shootout.
56.
All right, we're going long. We're going long.
Packers
It's so
win.
weird.
With that being said, I'm Sanjay. That's Fred. That's Matt. This is the Freezer Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Go Pack, go.